All right, guys, today is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023, and another chassis video. There's going to be several. There's going to be a lot of them. But doesn't look like it's going to rain today, and not as hot. But I haven't actually checked the weather in 2 days, so I might check it to see if it's changed. But it is sunny outside, and it's not very, very hot right now. I am going to work on that spot on the chassis I showed in the last video. There is, when I removed the transmission mount off the frame, there was a thin spot in the chassis, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out and put in new metal, weld it up and grind it smooth. I don't want to leave any thin areas on there like that. It's just, you know, for longevity type of thing. It's not all the way through, but it's not going to take much longer before it does go through, you know what I mean? And it just looks like crap anyway. So I'm going to be patching that. I've got an idea of something else I'm going to do to the frame, but it's just something I'm going to do. Probably going to take me about a half hour to build it, fab it up and everything. And I have a thing here that I can use. So it's not anything he's going to have to pay for. It's just something I want to do to it. Is a kind of like a custom thing, and I'm going to tie it in with something else that's going on the chassis that he wants done as a little custom touch. So they'll complement each other, we'll say. So I am actually going to make a run to Tractor Supply. That's what I need to do, is get my list. I need to go to Tractor Supply and I need to get a couple of things. I need a new grinding stone for my grinder, because I wasted that one yesterday trying to grind off the remnants of the old transmission mounts. If you've ever removed them old tranny mounts, and you know what I'm talking about. If you're trying to get them off there where it doesn't look like anything was ever on there, it is very, very time consuming to get those removed. But I also need to get a little 4-pack of square nuts, 1/4x20s, for those splash shield brackets that are on the chassis. And I've said it before, if you're messing with your Tri-5 chassis, you need to check those tabs, because a lot of times they're stripped out. And the factory coarse thread, I think it's a number 12. I don't know what the thing is, honestly. I'll go into more detail on it when I get to that point too. But anyway, I put 1/4x20 nuts on my hardtop in that place of those, and I put 1/4x20s on my wife's 4-door. And I'm going to go ahead and do it. It'll probably be every Tri-5 I ever do from now on. I'll just do the same thing. It'll just be a lot easier. So I'm going to get started. Right now I'm going to go to Tractor Supply and get a few things. So. Alright guys, so I'm getting ready to get started on a little project here. This is something I just want to do to the frame, that a little custom touch, and it kind of complements the front to the rear. It'll tie it in a little bit. So this is a rear end cover that Steve got for his car. I mean, it's really a girdle, but it puts tension on your caps to make your rear end just a little bit stronger. But you know, it looks cool too. It's got the bow tie in it. This is a Proform, and they make one that has the bow tie, where they have one that says Perfect Launch in it, which is what I have on my hardtop. So he wants a little bit of the orange, or the copper. I keep calling his car orange, but it's copper. That copper pearl that's on his car. He brought me the paint. He's got a little bit left in the gallon can. He wanted this painted orange done in here, so I'm going to mask off the aluminum outer here, and I'm going to spray the copper in the center of this. So what I wanted to do to give him a little custom touch on the chassis here is I'm going to put a cover on here. Now I made one just like this for my hardtop chassis that bolts on. I drill and tap the frame rail here, 4 holes, and I've got a cover on here. Now on mine I've got the Chevrolet script off the dash speaker grill for like a 150 or a 210 series on my car. I don't have any more of those that are in good shape. I don't even have an extra one at all. What I do have extra is some Bel Air scripts. These are the Bel Air dash scripts, and these are originals. And a long time ago I was having trouble figuring out what color I was going to paint my hardtop, and at one point I thought I was going to paint it blue pearl. So I had 4 extras of these, and I painted them all base coat, clear coat with that body color. Those were going to be on my brake caliper covers, because I have 4 matching custom made brake caliper covers with Bel Air logos on them. I ended up going with chrome on the hardtop, but anyway, these got thrown in a box and I've got 4 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually when I blast a few other little parts and pieces, I'm going to run the blaster over this because it'll take that paint off real quick. I'm going to use some etch primer that I have, just aerosol, and then I'm going to put the copper pearl in this. So at the same time I spray his bow tie, I'm going to spray this script. So this cover that I'm making goes right here, on here, and it'll bolt on. And this script will be attached. The frame's upside down, so bear with me here. It's hard to do one-handed when you're holding the GoPro. Anyway, you get the idea. He'll have a Bel Air logo right there in the copper color. The rest of the frame will be black. But anyway, the idea behind this is it hides the studs and the stuff hanging down for your core support. But also up in here, this is always really crusty and just rough looking up inside here. And it just kind of hides that whole, it just blocks it off basically. But anyway, I thought it'd be cool, so I've got the same gauge metal here. Actually, it's not. This is a little bit thinner. This is some sheet metal, but it's pretty thick stuff. But, I mean, it's heavy. This is hot rolled steel, so it has that glaze on it that is a pain in the butt to get off. But anyway, I need to cut this out and drill the holes, and then pretty much drill and tap the frame and put it on there. I do need to rustle up some hardware here, so I guess I'll get that found. Alright, so I got my tray out here, and I dug through all my Allen head stuff, and I've got a package of 100 here, stainless steel 1032 by 1/2 inch long Allen buttons. So I'll use 4 of these and drill and tap the frame to 1032. I've gotten to where anymore I just buy my hardware from eBay. And the reason is, I think I paid like 10 or 12 bucks for this pack of 100 of these stainless steel Allen buttons. If I go to my hardware store, it's like 3 or 4 bucks for like, you know, 4 or 5 of them. So by the time it's all said and done and the gas in the truck to drive down there and back to town, it's cheaper for me to buy the hardware in bulk online. So now if I'm in a pinch, you know, I'll run downtown and stuff and do that, but luckily I had already had them screws here, so that's what I'm going to use on it. All right, here goes the reveal. So it's all mocked up. Anyway, I've bent the corners. These corners are bent kind of in to contour the cradle. I also had to bend this center area right here on this part over my leg, because this has to be curved a little bit, but this needs to be straight. And then I had this on and off about 20 times, and I basically fit this perfectly to the panel that's, or the bracket that's put on the chassis, so it fits perfectly up to the edge all the way around. But anyway, I went ahead and buffed the little 1032 button heads on the buffing wheel, and I will be putting some little lock washers on here. They're the same diameter as the button head, so you're not going to see any washer hanging out. But anyway, I ended up I rolled this end right here. This end is rolled, and it fits this perfectly. Like when you stick your finger on it, run it down, it's perfectly even. There's no highs or low spot in it. It does look like it, but this is hot rolled steel, so it has this dark glaze on it, and stuff's kind of difficult to remove. But anyway, right here on this very edge, you can see I got a little strip of it that goes all the way down, but it gets thinner as it goes down. So that's what you're seeing. It's not really a shadow or a spot that's open. It fits really nice. But anyway, these core support hanger bracket things they're made kind of funny. They're notched in right here on the end of them, so they're kind of weird. I wasn't going to mess with trying to get that to fit and contour, you know, bend it this way and then back that way. And this is the same way I did my hardtop. I just rolled it up. But anyway, it looks really neat. I hope he's happy with that. He didn't ask me to do that. It's just a freebie. It's just something I did on my own time. I'm not charging for any of this stuff. Now this panel I made is going to be the black paint that we're using here, which is a low gloss black. And when I paint the chassis, I'll paint this separately. That way the inside and everything behind it will be painted, but I'll paint the back of this and the front of this. Now the script itself, the Bel Air logo here, I'm going to blast this with my little blaster, etch prime it with aerosol etching primer that I have, and then I'm going to paint it that copper color that's on his car, and also the little bow tie in the rear end cover, so he'll have two little things at each end to tie it in. The reason I'm going to blast this, I could Scotch-Brite this down and paint this, but this is probably going to get rock chipped. You know, if somebody in front of him throws out some rocks or something, and if it chips it, it'll wind up going, maybe showing some blue under it. So that's the reason of blasting it, is just to get rid of the blue. But you know, I love it. I think it's cool, man. I hope he's happy with that. It's just a really neat. I'd never seen anybody do that, and I did it on my hardtop. And I'm going to build one for my wife's car, and I'm going to use the quarter panel crest off of Bel Air here. That way, Steve has, there's all 355s have this feature, but one has a Chevrolet script, which is my hardtop. Steve's will have the Bel Air logo. My wife's is a 210, so I'm going to put the quarter panel little crest on there. Now on my wife's chassis, I'll paint it the low gloss black. It's the same as a chassis, but the script itself, I'm going to paint it gloss black, like base clear gloss black. That way it's not as like in your face looking, but it still gives it a little bit of pop. I don't know, I may do the body color green on it. It just depends. It just depends. But I have to wait until I get to that point, I guess. But anyway, guys, now I got to get on to the regularly scheduled programming, we'll say. I'm going to be cutting the side of this out and patching it where this is crusty. And I've got to go through, I got a new grinding stone at Tractor Supply a little bit ago, and I'm going to go in and grind all this crap off. Then I got to flip the frame upright and grind the tops of both of those. And then I need to finish putting the little stitches on his rock guards here. So I've still got quite a bit of work to do, but I'm getting closer, you know what I mean? I got to tell you, I've never done a chassis off a car that is this crusty. This has some pretty heavy rust on it, and the ones I've messed with have not ever been this bad. And when I'm trying to blast these little areas, like when I blasted that little area the other day and down in them pockets back there, it took a lot of effort. So I am not 100% that my little blaster is even going to work on this. I do know of a blaster, but I don't know how I'm going to get the frame there. I might be able to get that in the back of my long bed truck, actually. Anyway, I'll have to call the blaster and see what he would charge if I just took the frame over there. Get a quote, I guess. But if he can blast it, that's what he does for a living. He has a big, huge, you know, industrial blaster. And I might see what he charges just to do the chassis. But if he can blast it, that'll save me 2 days of work, you know what I mean? Trying to go in there and do it all by hand and blast it with my little blaster and stuff. And then all I got to do is go back and get it, bring it back, Scotch-Brite it down, clean it up a little bit, wipe it down, and start putting the primer on it. But anyway, that is pretty much it. I guess I'll show you. I was talking about the one on my hardtop, and these quarter panel scripts I'm talking about putting on my wife's guard on the front, or cover, is one of these. They come on the Bel Air cars. Now this is what my little cover looks like with the Chevrolet dash script in it. I've got mine on there with 12-point ARP 1032s. I just think it's a neat little detail, you know what I mean? And then earlier in one of the clips I was talking about those blue dash scripts, because I was thinking about painting the car blue at one point. I've got these custom made brake caliper covers, and I use the chrome Bel Air logos, and they have the angled corners on the back and everything, just like they kind of look like a caliper, but they have a chrome Bel Air logo in them, and they're the same size on all four corners. So another neat little feature, custom made parts. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get to work on this stuff, but thanks for watching.